These are the meditations of Kantes. On today's meditation, empaths are not perfect. You dig? Empaths are not perfect. Chosen ones are not perfect. As you continue to move on with your life as a chosen, which you have since you were younger, it has always been common for people to try to label you as a perfect person or whatever, because you have your heart, you have a very deep connection with God, or they all, and so you always express this connection openly, unconsciously, without you knowing, and this led to people labeling you as some type of like a saint or something. So whenever they see any type of humane reaction, any type of human type of, they're almost perplexed, because in their minds they associate what you are and what you exhibit and what they feel when they're around you, they associate it with God, they associate it with holiness. And so when they see you do certain things, to them they're like, how do you do that? And they don't even know whether you consider that thing to be virtuous or not. Based on their own thinking, they're just like, you know they're like, this person should be like this. Now, as an empath, you should know, as an empath chosen one, you should never go or abide by what most people, the labels of what holy is, what saintly is, what virtuous is. As you get out of the matrix, you'll realize it's actually the opposite of what you think. It's not what you thought before. You see, before you were going by a script. No, before you were going by what they were saying, what they were labeling on your on when you went to church and they told you this is what a good person does. They pick later in the community or whatever they did. They never broke it down to you that you can never be a good person unless you have a heart, unless you have a soul, unless you have empathy. So for them it's a show. And so because it's a show, yours is real. So it can be real even while you're dealing with human type of things. Now where has this come from? For me, for example, a habit that I've been quite indulging in it quite a bit for the last 3 4 years is ganja, MJ, marijuana. And so whenever people hear that they are indulging it, it's never been an issue. It has never, diminished my thinking capacity, my doing capacity, my stamina, my physical capacity. It has not, done anything of that. It has not, you know, I've not been intoxicated by it so much that I would, cause anyone harm. You would have to be very close to me around my home to know I even indulge in it. But as soon as they find this out, it's a way, it's an opening to try to see if, you know because to them human, what you are and the feeling they get cannot be human. They are very curious to know why they feel the way they feel around you. So whenever they see you doing something that they deem like a vice, they're like, there is proof that he's not. And then in their mind they are trying to like, they're like, they're telling their subconscious mind, you see, he's not perfect, so stop feeling the way you're feeling. You see, so you as a chosen, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about because you are a completely different creature. You're a miracle. So when they see you, they expect you to be on a completely different standard of morality. You're not human to them. You're a you're an alien type creature because of just how much love you exude, and because you have your soul, and because of how they feel. You see, you didn't go to anyone to tell them, even Donakuanga, this is what you didn't do any of that. This is based on their own thinking about how they've seen you move. Unaona? And so because they've seen you, you're a dope dude, you're a nice girl, whatever you do. And they give you like a 9 on the holy meter. Then they see you maybe smoke, they see you maybe wear a certain dress for a woman, they see maybe as a guy, maybe you have a tattoo, they see you maybe you listen to a certain type of music, maybe you're into reggae, maybe you're into rock, whatever you are. you know they they see, you know they are, that's how man, it just allows you to understand how few souls, true real souls, we have on the earth, because of how overtaken people are by you. Because in your mind you're like, I'm just a normal person moving around, you've seen it, but The way they moved when they see you, that's a big part of why you understand what you are. They showed you what you are because they treated you different. You know, for me, a lot of these snacks, losers, chosen ones, or whatever you call the chosen ones, unchosen ones, because they refuse themselves. But a lot of these snacks, NPCs, they are not, let's just say they can't be able to understand what you are. To them, it's like you should be living like a holy life, and their holy life is based on church. So their holy life, so even them, the life that they expect you to live, they can't live it. Their pastor can't live it. But because you have God in you, they somehow think that you should be persecuted even more because you are human. you know and as a chosen, you know exactly what I've said, even if I've gone so many places, because of how you feel. They always want to associate, and you would, as a chosen, because of how you move. You always have this, how would I say it? You always have this ambassador type of energy. You're always very well composed, very the way you dress is very, how would I say, dignified. But you're still a human being. You still have ups and downs. You might still have vices. I've spoken about how many chosen ones, indulge in smoking, and it's a deep habit because it's not like alcohol. you know you might find a lot of chosen are, very avoidant of alcohol, but when it comes to smoking, there's a deeper part, because smoking, if you look deeper into it, as a psychological habit, even for me, because I've gone deeper to try and cure myself. It's an oral fixation. It's an oral fixation where you are either breastfed a lot or you are breastfed, too little. So it's a for me, as of now, what I think, it's a psychological, how do I say it, cope. Because especially with solitude, as a chosen one, you're in solitude a lot, so you can find yourself leaning to, especially habits like smoking, because solitude can be tough. You can weather it, but sometimes, you lean on other things. You're a human being, you'll deal with it somehow, some way. I don't even need to, I know I'll deal with it. I've dealt with it before, and to the capacity that I have, even with how, indulgent I have been in it, it has still not hampered me in doing my mission. It has not taken me out of the position of an empath. It has not diminished my gifts to the capacity that I know. But still, they'll be amazed. They'll be amazed. They'll be like, they want to call God and be like, God, this empath is smoking. Take away his empathic gifts. you know, they're like, God, this empath has sexual desires for the opposite sex. Wow, take away his abilities. They can't believe you're a human being. That's very, very flattering. You should be flattered as a chosen one, that they perceive you to be on such a high level. But and it should never overtake you where you feel like, oh man, maybe never, man, never. You've seen most of these people. Those very same people that are pointing their finger have four fucking fingers pointing back at them, and they are dead anyway. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe. Do not think that you're ever going to be perfect as an empath. It doesn't matter what vice you're dealing with today or tomorrow. You are a human, you are a spirit having a human experience. Accept it. Don't judge yourself, don't judge others. Focus on yourself, and you'll be alright. Adios.